I'll meet you guys at Stockbridge. Can I
Yeah, no problem.
confess?
Of course you can. Anyone you pick, right or left?
Choices are hard.
Yeah, this is the fork in the road. Went left. I like it. Instinct based.
You haven't got chairs in here.
No, no, no.
You can hear
Stand.
me.
You face your confession. Of course I hear you. Can I help you with, Mr. Dog?
Do you mind if I just ask a few questions to start?
Of course.
What's your I guess what's this church's belief in death?
Well, I'm a strong believer that death is the only certainty in life. You see, not everybody is promised life, but everything that lives will one day die. It's the end goal, the end game of our purpose here, and I believe it's not to be so focused on. We should focus on what we do with the life we have as opposed to fear the coming of death, which is inevitable. And yourself, what's your feeling on death?
I don't know anymore. You if death could walk and talk, how would it change things for you?
Yeah. You see, that's a tricky subject. Do I believe death can walk and talk? Certainly. I mean, just like I believe divinity is within all, I believe her reach of death is within all. After all, we do have a phrase called the oculus mortis, which does mean, well, the eye of death. Now, do I believe death has its way to take physical form? Eh, I I don't feel it would. But at the same hand, do I believe some sort of manifestation of evil could take form with an obsession of death? Well, I've seen quite a bit in this city, and I would not question that one bit. I'm guessing you are referring to the crows.
Yeah.
I've heard quite a bit about those crows. Ain't quite seen them, and someone did tell me almost the same thing you're telling me about a manifestation of death. The issue is whether it's death or not, what you're dealing with there is something not of this realm. And unfortunately, they are much trickier to take care of. What's your connection with this death?
I guess it's my confession, really. Um, I made a deal with that thing,
You can call it death. It's all right.
but not a good one.
All right. Well, it's at your liberty to discuss if you'd like, dog. I don't want to force your hand.
You got family, preacher?
Of course, I do.
I imagine you do a lot of things you normally wouldn't for family.
Of course.
Yeah, me too. I'm, I said I'd do something pretty bad. I just don't
Mm.
know whether I should or not.
So it sounds like you've put yourself in a predicament that questions your own morality with, well, the protection of your family.
Yeah.
That is a very tough spot to put yourself in. But if there's one thing I learned, I know this may not be what it is you want to hear. Society will always judge you. Your neighbor will always judge you. The government, the city, the state, the Senate, the police departments, everything is built to cast judgment upon civilian life. But at the end of the day, when I lived up on the mountains where there was no law, I believed very heavily in my kin, and I would do anything for my kin. When I look at the situation like that, I weigh myself in the options of if I'm breaking my own moral compass, will I be the only one that is sacrificed? Will I be the martyr so that my children can live free and strong? If so, then hell, I take it. I'll do what I need to do to make sure that those I love are well taken care of. But now, if being the martyr also endangers a mass variety of people, then at that time we need to sit and think: are we being selfish? And that's the best advice I can give you. I'm not here to be someone to tell you don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that, because you have your own free will, doc. But I will tell you is weigh the options before you and decide: will you be the martyr that saves a family, or you will you be the selfish man that protects a family while sacrificing the world?
I'm just worried that no matter what choice I make, that I might not recognize myself in the mirror afterwards.
I've lived on this world a very long time, and that text I gave you there, there's actually a decree that goes fairly off of this here. And it's the idea that regardless of what decision it is that we make in our lives, even if it comes to the idea of revenge, which a lot of people can see revenge as evil, sometimes revenge is necessary. It's the disciplinary action for someone or something that goes astray for the well being of others. Now, people seem to think of revenge as this violent thing, but I like to believe that it deserves deep thought and deep conversation. If you're strictly going into it to hurt, then you've already failed that purpose. But if you go into it, you need to make sure that you're mentally prepared to look yourself in the mirror and understand that that is what you did. You made this choice, and there is no going back. The choice was made, it's yours to bear. Regardless of what it is you see in that mirror, at the end of the day, that is you, because that's the path you took. Though I must warn you, Doc, if you're dealing with anything from, well, otherworldly that focuses more on death, you see, there's a reason that room upstairs exists, and it's because evil entities have a way with manipulation. Sometimes they may tell you one thing and promise you one thing, but never plan on keeping those promises. Sometimes you need to gather information yourself. And, well, as an internal affairs officer, I think you have the capability. You just got to make sure you can bottle up those emotions while you dig. Befriend death. Learn more about death. Turn the other cheek sometimes if you have to, even if it's against your own moral compass. Find out how death treats situations like the one you are in, and then make yourself that educated decision from there.
I didn't really think about that.
Everything's an investigation, dog. Every conversation you have with anybody, even friendships. At first, we meet someone, they're simply an acquaintance, and then we take the time to observe them. We observe what it is we like, what it is we don't like, and eventually we come to the conclusion of, hey, this person's a friend. Everybody deserves that right. Even if you think someone is your worst enemy, observe them. Sometimes learning how they tick can tell you a lot more about who they are than just your general presumption of what they do.
And you think that even if this thing is from another world, that that's a capability, that's an option?
That what's an option? Investigating it.
Let me rephrase here.
Okay.
I've been given a choice already that's either one bad thing or another.
Of course. That's usually how they work.
You think those are the only two choices?
No, those are never the only two choices. Think about it this way. When we walked up to that down that aisle and I said to you, which one would you like, left or right? And you instinctively rocked left, that's because those are the only two choices that I presented in front of you. But you could have walked backwards. Hell, you could have punched me in the face. You could have dropped down and taken a shit right on the floor. There's hundreds of other choices. The problem is when we're only presented with two, we instantly decide that we need to pick one of those two.
Thank you, preacher.
Of course, Doc. You need to learn to trust yourself, Doc. At the end of the day, while you may wear that badge, you need to understand that that badge is not you. You are you. That badge is your line of work. Follow your own moral compass, learn what it is you must, and go from there. Make sure that whatever decision it is you make is the one that you are comfortable bearing.
You're pretty good at this.
You've been doing it for a very long time.
If I can give you some advice back, you see any of those crows, you steer clear.
I've heard that plenty. Hell, someone even told me that it was coming for me, but I ain't ever seen it.
You ever see a man wearing all black, slightly smoking a cigarette? He goes by the name Norman Bones.
Norman Bones.
Yeah, maybe look him up on the internet. You'll probably get the newspapers of his death sentence about 4 years back.
I'll take a look.
You take care of yourself, preacher, okay?
You as well. Stay safe.
I
I'm
know you
always a
will.
phone call away if you need me, dog.